Okay, Shalom Akim, Shalom, Yabashim Yashab Rakatha, Kahala Imla Yahabashim Yashab Bashar Hakudash, and double honest to great apostles and the elder bishops of Great Millstone. Yaratazar that this video is edifying and exhorting, and really, and of course, Thadi Yashab for the strength in order to make this video. It should be a quick one because, really the point is. This might be a new teaser trailer to what East was about to release. Just from the title, you should be able to know what I mean. So it says there are 5 new meningitis cases found in Kent. More specifically the University of Kent. Students were out there clubbing, and then one of the people of whom had it's really a bacteria. It's not even a virus. It's a bacteria. When you do some research on it. But yeah, the point is, one of the hosts had it, and then of course it spread, and then an individual, well, as they claim, 2 individuals have died from it now. So of course this then caused the union to say, all right, people got to take those bacteria shots, man. Antibiotic, or not bacteria shots, what am I saying? Antibiotic shots, let's just say that. So the more you get into it, the more you'll understand. But yeah, let me play this, get some understanding.
Last hour, the UK Health Security Agency has said that the number of meningitis cases that it is investigating as part of an outbreak in Kent has risen by 5 to 20.
It comes ahead of thousands of students in the region being offered a vaccine against meningitis today as part of efforts to control the outbreak. It has so far claimed 2 lives. Well, the Health Secretary, Wes Streeting, joins us now. Good morning to you, Mr. Streeting. Let's go straight in with the latest situation and those new figures that have been released by the UK Health Security Agency.
Yeah, so first and foremost, my heart goes out to the families of those 2 young people who've tragically died. I cannot begin to imagine what they're going through. And because those 2 cases throw into sharp relief in the most painful way how serious meningococcal...
Hold on, so okay, let me catch this guy again.
Joins us now. Good morning to you, Mr. Streeting. Of efforts to control the outbreak. It has so far claimed 2 lives. Well, the Health Secretary, Wes Streeting, joins us now.
Oh, calm. I didn't catch his role. That's why I had to rewind. So yeah, that's the Health Secretary right there. Wes Streeting.
Good morning to you, Mr. Streeting. Let's go straight in with the latest situation and those new figures that have been released by the UK Health Security Agency.
Yeah, so first and foremost, my heart goes out to the families of those 2 young people who've tragically died. I cannot begin to imagine what they're going through. And because those 2 cases throw into sharp relief in the most painful way how serious meningococcal disease can be, there is understandable concern about what this...
What he just said, I watched a video from this guy called Dr. John Campbell, which, he has a certain level of reasoning, let's just say. Like he ain't up with the mRNA V stuff. Back when it happened, he exposed some stuff, man, let's just say that. Anyway, so, but nevertheless, our reasonings through the scriptures. But yeah, meningococcal apparently is the actual, how can I say this? I won't get too technical, let everyone do their own research, because I don't want to say something that I'm uncertain of. But yeah, I believe it could be that bacteria strain or something. But yeah, that's where the meningitis comes from. But anyways, let's continue.
Means in terms of risk to others. So let me just tell you where we are and what we're doing. As of this morning, we've got 9 confirmed cases, another 11 suspected cases. We are concentrated on the outbreak and the links to Club Chemistry in Canterbury.
Which I believe is the name of the club.
And in particular, the risk to people who were there on the 5th, 6th and 7th of March. There are a few things that people can take some reassurance from. Firstly, in all of the cases, from the very first case we became aware of on Friday night into the early hours of Saturday morning, we've been actively tracing the contacts of those cases and proactively offering antibiotics, which are extremely effective. So in over 90% of cases, this is an effective treatment, and we've been proactively and in a preventative way offering those antibiotics to close contacts. We've also stood up antibiotic provision on the university campus itself. We've now, through distribution sites across Canterbury and Broadstairs, issued 2,500 doses of antibiotics. Again, really important because it's extremely effective.
You know, it always seems so simple and so harmless. But then if you then take the root of Esau's nature being the wicked man that he is, you know, I'm going to bring out a precept, Yaris, as well. You know that these 2,000 shots that have been instituted over there in the University of Kent, these could be 2,000 individuals of whom are just hosts to then spread it all over the UK. And then before you know it, Esau's released his next mixtape, man. But yeah, let me get the precept. Hold on. This is Ecclesiasticus, also known as Sirach, chapter 12 and verse 10. Never, of course, that's the key word, never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. And of course, you know, this applies. And that's the thing with Jake, man. You know, Jake just is too trusting, man. You gotta know that your enemy, you're living in the land of your enemy. So you gotta learn to be more self-sufficient, you know, and not depend on Esau, Edom. Because first of all, Yahweh Shem Shai has given us knowledge to be able to treat certain symptoms and treat certain one could say viral infections or bacterial infections that, you know, may happen, or even to prevent those things, really. You know, which all in all is simpler than you believe. You know, there's certain things the scriptures say, you know, of course, you know, there's herbs, there's medicines of the earth, you know, the scriptures say on that, as well as fasting. That's a universal one that anyone can do. It's free. So yeah, it says verse 11, though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him, be cautious. And thou shalt be unto him as if thou hast wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust hath not been altogether wiped away. Yeah, man, that rust still remains, that wickedness still remains. Let's read on. So it says, set him not by thee, lest when he hath overthrown thee, he stand up in thy place, neither let him sit at thy right hand, lest he take thy seat. You see, he's would try to take over you, man, overpower you. Now it says, and thou at the last remember my words and be pricked therewith, because like, oh damn, I got warned and I still do nothing. Yeah, Jake, that's what's going on. That's what the prophets are doing. The prophets have given you the warning, and if you ignore, you're going to suffer the consequence of your actions. Simple as that. Verse 13. Who will pity a charmer that is bitten with a serpent? Exactly. Literally happened during 2020, 2021, 2022. People told, don't go and don't submit. But of course, you know, the weak spirits within them that, you know, the Most High put within their spirit anyways, just took over, man. You know, them demons of social pressure took over whatever setting that they were in, work, school, whatever the neighborhood or whatever type of setting or community that you're a part of. It says, who would pity a charmer that is bitten with a serpent, or any such as come nigh wild beasts, you see? So that one go to a sinner and is defiled with him in sins, who will pity. For a while he will abide with thee, but if thou begin to fall, he will tarry. You know, so, and it's the key part of read verse verse 10 and verse 13 as well, considering the topic. So now let me get this precept as well. This could also be seen as a form of judgment upon Jake as well. You know, the Most High still is angry with Jake, by the way. Okay, so well, for those of you who are new to this truth, you know, that's the thing. Until Esau, Edom's kingdom is demolished and Yahushua's kingdom is established, that anger, that indignation is still there. So Exodus 15 and 26, you know, of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Exodus 15 and 26, and said, if thou wilt diligently hearken to the voice of the Lord Yahweh thy power, and will do that which is right in his sight, and will give ear to his commandments. So this is talking about if Israel actually listened, and listen to Yahweh, and keep all his statutes, I will put none of these diseases upon thee, which I have brought upon the Egyptians, for I am the Lord Yahweh that healeth thee. You see? The Most High is the one who heals us. Yahweh Shem Yahshua is the one who heals us, not Esau's medicine. Now, what was I gonna say, man? But yeah, it's now clearly, of course, if one then disobeys, you know that the result will be, all right, the Most High is going to release the same diseases. And this applies to the modern day context as well. You know, but anyways, man, that's the point. Disobedience has led to these things to happen, these diseases, one could say. So just keep your eyes open. This could be another mixtape that Esau's rolling up. I remember when the Monkey V was another one that he was thinking of releasing, but who knows? He could do the whole thing. You know, the Avengers Endgame equivalent of all diseases. So Ephesians 5 and 15, where, you know, he'll probably combine like multiple strains, bacterial, viral, you know, whatever he could get his hands on and engineer. And it was Ephesians 5 and 15. See then that ye walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the time, because the days are evil. Wherefore be ye not unwise, but understanding what the will of the Lord is. Because if you understand what the will of the Lord is, that's how we remain in the grace of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. So anyways, I'm just making this video just to, you know, open your eyes, man, you know, just in case this thing gets blown out of proportion. Because, you know, it's a fear tactic that he's putting out there. It's like, oh yeah, 2 students have died. You know, again, could be true, could not be true. But at the end of the day, your faith is rooted, my faith is rooted in Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Because as it said in Exodus 15 and verse 26, you know, Yahweh healeth thee. He says, I am the Lord. Let me read it again. The latter part, it says, for I am the Lord Yahweh that healeth thee. So through Yahweh Shem Yahushua, that's how we're able to be strong, stand up, get up from our beds. It's all through Yahweh Shem Yahushua. You know, that's how we're able to breathe and just be in a healthy state. Anyways, man, so that's the point. You know, see then ye walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the time, because the days are evil in that time. So faith is going to be essential, man. Anyways, yeah, I'll link the rest of the video, you know, in the description. But yeah, man, go keep your eyes open. So yeah, shalom, and Yahweh Shem Yahshua, Barakatha.